Touchdown Tampa Bay. You're listening to the Pewtercast.
Welcome to another episode of the Pewtercast. I am Brent Allen, your host, joined as always by my good friend Ren Dax. Ren, buddy, we have a doozy of a show to kind of, I guess this is our first show of 2020. We've got a doozy to kick off the day here.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, this is a nice way to kick off the 2020 season. And I can guarantee you, absolutely guarantee you, no one else will have this content.
I hope not. I haven't checked with all the other outlets out there, but we have a very special guest. And honestly, right now, if you're listening to it, you've already seen the title of the episode. You know who's joining us. This is an episode, Ren, we are dedicating to our friend, the face of the FANchise. Oh, maybe we'll call it that. The face of the FANchise, Big Nasty, who's up for a really prestigious award that's really cool sounding about what is actually going to go into it. But he's up for the Ford Hall of Fans.
Yeah, I thought it was cool, and then, which you're going to hear very shortly, I'll let the cat out of the bag. Terry Bradshaw talks about what they get.
Yes. Whoa, Ren, did you say Terry Bradshaw?
You already said it was in the league.
Yeah. No, it's that Terry Bradshaw, in case anybody's wondering. That guy you watch before every football game every Sunday. Terry
four-time Super Bowl champion, two-time Super Bowl MVP.
Hall of Fame guy. Yeah.
League MVP. Yeah, that guy. But he talked about, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but the things that they get if they're the ones picked, it's like, you're in the hall. You're in the hall.
Yeah. It's
in the
amazing.
Hall of Fame.
Right. This isn't just like you get a certificate to hang on your wall in your office at home.
Yeah. And so, it's not like an etched brick outside.
It's not in an annex building over there. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. But hey, listen,
Big Nasty 2020.
Right. Let's let Terry tell the folks out there exactly what they get, because even you and I both sat here and went, "What?"
Yeah.
It was great. So we've got Terry on today for the show, and then who else better to be with us on this show than Big Nasty himself, Keith Kunzig. He's going to join us after our interview with Terry Bradshaw, where we're going to get to talk to him about what is coming up, where he comes from, kind of his story, and honestly, why we should all be voting every single day as many times as you can, because I don't think it's really just once a day. You might be able to vote more than once. I don't know, but it's at least once a day from now through January 27th. Ford Football Hall of Fans.com/football. Go vote right now while you're listening to it, and we'll be right back with our interview with Terry Bradshaw. Friends, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you took that special someone out on a date? How expensive was it? The average date night these days costs around $115. And that doesn't even include babysitters for the kids if you need them. Now look, I don't care who you are, that's just plain expensive, especially if you're on a budget. Well, what if I told you that you could have an incredibly fun and unique date night for the next 6 weeks, or even 6 months, for around $30 a night? Well, you can with Hunt a Killer. Hunt a Killer is the murder mystery box that immerses you in an ongoing experience in the comfort of your own home. With every box or episode, you'll dive deeper into the case, sift through the evidence and the case files, and you'll be running red string from pin to pin on a map until you crack the case and catch the killer. Now, if you've been listening to this show, you know that I've been trying out Hunt a Killer this summer, and I have just caught my first killer. Well, not just me, my wife and me. And I gotta tell you guys, we loved this game. It was so much fun. Not only are we going to be diving into the new series coming out really soon, but this time we're going to be doing it with friends. So I guess that means double dates for me for a while. Listen, guys, this is a great, cost-effective way to spend time with friends and with loved ones working together and having a good time. Now, if that sounds like fun to you, I've got a special offer from Hunt a Killer. Just go to huntakiller.com and use the code PewterCast for 20% off your first box. Again, make sure to use the code PewterCast, that's all one word, for a 20% discount and to show your support for the PewterCast. See if you have what it takes to hunt a killer. All right, well, we have Terry Bradshaw, yes, the Terry Bradshaw on the line with us. Mr. Bradshaw, welcome to the Pewtercast.
Well, Brent, good morning. Ren, good morning. Good Good to hear from you guys. Going to be a great day. I know everything's wonderful down there in the Tampa Bay area, so good for you, and I look forward to getting down there myself. I got a place over in, I guess, Sarasota. I guess you'd call it Sarasota, so I love it down there.
Yeah,
Bradenton,
we're about
Bradenton, yeah.
Yeah, we're about the only sliver of the country when you look at the map of the United States that has any yellow or orange still in it. So it's a good time to be a Floridian.
Right.
But we have you on because we want to talk about the Ford Hall of Fans. This is, something that, they have these super fans that are nominated by this committee. And my first question to you is this is something that I've always thought is like, how important is the fan relationship to the NFL, and how important is sort of this award to the NFL?
Everything is about the fans, at least it should be, because without fans, you have no NFL. That's just it. That's just plain and simple. And so the fan base, y'all are here. We have the greatest fans. And Jerry Jones, we have our fine Cowboy fans. And it's always fans. And so you build these beautiful billion-dollar stadiums, and you better fill it up with fans. And so that's and this program that we're doing, this Ford Hall of Fans thing, is something we actually started. This is our second year, and I've been with Ford quite a while, and we started last year. This is our second year, and let me just tell all your listeners, your viewers, this is that what it simply is that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have great fans, and I'm sure there are people out there that say, well, you got to see, Jennifer Hurdley. She's the greatest fan ever of the Tampa Bay Bucs. So what we're saying to all the fans of her, every day until January 27th, all you have to do is go online to FordHallOfFans.com football and vote for her. And you can do it tomorrow and the next day till January 27th. And then after all the voting is done, and right now we're down to 6 teams. We're down to the Ravens, the Cowboys, the Broncos, the Chiefs, Raiders, and the Buccaneers. And so those 6 teams, those representatives will go to Miami for the Super Bowl, and David Baker, the president of the Hall of Fame, will knock on your door, just like he does the players that are being inducted, and he will say to whomever of these 6 teams, it could be 1 person, 2 persons, max is 3, and he'll say to them, you've been voted to the Ford Hall of Fans Ring of Honor. I call it a Ring of Honor. It's basically Hall of Fame.
Right.
And you then get a Hall of Fame jacket, same color, and the patch that says Hall of Fans. And then you get a ring, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And your bus goes into the Hall of Fame. There's a section for the Ford Hall of Fans. So, man, it's the real deal.
You get your bus.
It is the real deal.
All right, now Terry, I gotta ask, like our guy Keith, Big Nasty, he's a face painter with a rhino helmet. What goes in? Is it just his regular face, or will it be the made up face, that he wears to every game?
Well, that's a good question. I can't answer that, but I would imagine. See, it's a bus, so it's impossible to put the colors on it, but it's pretty cool. I mean, it's seriously cool. And we did it last year for the first time, and actually someone from Pittsburgh area won it, got his jacket, got his ring. It's just the doggonest thing you've ever seen. And you're there permanently, man. It's a great thing that the NFL and Ford and, of course, the Hall of Fame have got together with Ford being the title sponsor to do this. And it's fun. The fans love it.
Well, Terry, let me ask you, because we're big fans of our guy, Big Nasty, and we're biased, but we definitely think he should win. Even just putting them up next to each other. We think Big Nasty should win. But how did we get to this point with him? I mean, you mentioned there's only 6 people. There's 32 teams in the NFL. How did we get to this point with these 6, and one of them being our guy, Big Nasty?
All you got to do is just, it's like I said, go online to Ford, FordHallOfFans.com football. Vote for him. Put his name in. And then you can do it. Everyone else there, Ren can do it. Brent can do it. Everyone there can do it. Tomorrow, do it again. Next day, do it again. All the way up to January 27th. If he gets enough votes he could easily be selected to be in the Ford Hall of Fans.com. I mean, I don't even know how to say it. I keep wanting to say Hall of Fame, Fans Hall of Fame. Basically, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's FordHallOfFans.com/football.
But it's it's FordHallOfFans.com/football.
Right.
And when you go online, type in who you want, who you're voting for. And you can do it every day till the 27th. And if you'll go on right now, you'll see who your fan is. They've already got their name in there.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll see who it is.
Yeah, they're there. Yeah, the 6
and
of them
away
are
you go.
there.
And away you go.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, the page looks great. You know, they have their picture of them all dressed up in their regalia for every team, and then you can push a button and see their bio, or push a button and go ahead and vote for them. I know we're pushing up against it, and thank you so much.
Not hard to do, brother.
It is not. It is not. I have done it twice already. I know we're pressed up in time.
Good.
Thank you so much for coming on with us, but we got to give you a football question before you go, or we will absolutely be roasted. It's the $1 million question, Mr. Bradshaw. You know it's coming.
I know what the question is.
What do you do with Jameis Winston? What do you do with this guy?
I know. Well, I said on the Fox pregame show I'd like to be his coach. I think a former quarterback like myself could, because I threw a lot of picks. I understand where they're coming from. I think it's probably going to be something that's he's a gambler, and sometimes he makes bad decisions in the sense he knows what he's doing. It's not like some of the picks I saw earlier this year where he misread the coverage. He'll at times think he can squeeze it in there, and they end up being picks. There's also drop passes. It's more than just him with 30 interceptions. Come on. I would, if they're not certain, I don't know, can they franchise him again? I don't know the rules down there. Can they franchise him? Or he's on his fifth year right now, correct?
They want to. Yeah.
So they could franchise him. They could franchise him and try to straighten him out. Man, he threw 30 touchdown passes. Did he throw for 5,000 yards?
He did.
Yeah.
Or close.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, that's not a. And the guy hey, listen, the players love this guy.
Yeah, they
he
do.
just has to stop making mistakes. I'm going to tell you something. I threw a lot of interceptions, and I would say of the 210 interceptions I threw, 200 of them were my fault. You do get fooled in coverages, and I think a lot of me is in Jameis. You just think, oh man, I can get this, you know. But I recall being stripped of the ball in the air, and the ball pops up in the air. I've had players drop it, bounces up in the air. You just can't let it affect your confidence. But I think he's got to be more judicious with the football. But the greatness of Jameis Winston, and I see greatness. I mean, I know the fans probably screaming, and maybe you guys are too. But you don't do some of the things he does. He does some brilliant things. It's just that sometimes he does some things and you go, what the heck was he thinking? And it's the what the heck was he thinking that you've got to eliminate. And he's a smart kid. And I know, I don't think they want to get rid of him, and I don't think they want to start over with a quarterback. There's too much talent there, too much invested in him. I just say coach him up, coach him harder than ever. Or make the reads, you know, possibly make it simple. I don't know. I just like him. It's just that he does make mistakes, and you go, what the heck was he doing? But I've played that position, and I know what it's like to throw a ball and go, sheesh, what in the world was I thinking? I do it myself, so I keep him. That's my answer. I keep him. I franchise him. I keep him.
All right, we keep him too.
Going,
it's the debate, Mr. Bradshaw. That's the exact debate
or
between.
You go draft somebody, and I don't think you want to do that.
No, and that you're right. That's the debate among all fans here. Is he's great, and there's the bad decisions, and we get it.
Yeah.
We get it.
You can fix that. You can fix it. I promise you can fix it.
Well, that's good
I didn't
to know.
have a coordinator or a quarterback coach. So if I had to defend myself, a little bit. That's what I throw out there. He's got one, and they need to do a better job.
All right. Well, that's good to hear from the man himself, Terry Bradshaw. Yes, the Terry Bradshaw. Oh, my gosh, right here on the Pewtercast. Mr. Bradshaw, thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for coming on and talk to us about the Ford Hall of Fans. You guys make sure you go out there, vote for our guy, Big Nasty. He deserves it. He deserves to win to get his bust in Canton. FordHallOfFans.com/football is the way to do it. Vote every day from now through January 27th, and let's get our guy Big Nasty in there. Mr. Bradshaw, thank you so much.
Great job. Thanks, Brent. Thanks, Ren. Talk to you guys soon, I hope.
All right, Ren, that was Terry Bradshaw.
Coach Terry Bradshaw.
Coach Terry Bradshaw. He did say that. He wants to coach, or wishes, I guess, he could coach Jameis Winston. Can you imagine seeing him on our sideline?
I couldn't, because it's not going to happen. But you could tell how much it pained him, because he talked a lot about the similarities between him and Jameis. Mm-hmm. Like if you were around when Terry Bradshaw came in, and if you weren't, you can see him on NFL films and other things. Like he struggled coming out. As you heard, like he threw interceptions, and so he sees himself a lot in Jameis, like the doubters and the constant negativity around him, and he wants to help. Because he knows the talent is there, because he talked about that too. Right. But I just,
what I loved about that, what he said, was it's just the interceptions. It's just the bad decision. But then he followed it up. That can be coached out of him. That can be coached. And I'm like, I'm just sitting here going, look, if that's true, you can't go away from him. If it can be fixed, and I think that's a question a lot of Bucs fans. No, just Jameis is who Jameis is, and it's never going to get fixed.
Well, it's hard though, because that's what Lovey tried to do, that's what Cutter tried to do, and that's what BA tried to do.
Right.
And
well, BA ain't done yet.
Exactly. But it's like, I keep hearing this, and I'm not trying to contradict Terry Bradshaw, 4-time Super Bowl winner, 2-time Super Bowl MVP.
Guy who's played the game, right?
Hall of Famer, right. But like everyone's tried, but it's been tried. It's failed. So it's not just as simple as just saying it can be coached out of him, because, people that know a lot about football, a lot about football, are trying and so far have failed. So that's what compiles into the frustration.
Well, failed, but Ren, they've also succeeded, because as even Terry Bradshaw pointed out, 5,000 yards, 30-plus touchdowns. That doesn't come easy either.
No. Again, it's like after we had this conversation with Terry Bradshaw, talking about Jameis Winston there at the end, it's almost like we're more confused than we were when we went.
Hey, welcome to Bucs Fandom offseason 2020, Ren. That is the definition of what this offseason is going to be. But listen, it wasn't just Jameis that we talked about.
Right.
We also, and obviously the big push of this particular interview was the Ford Hall of Fans. And for us specifically, trying to get our guy Big Nasty in there, Keith Kunzig. Oh my gosh.
Trying to get his bust in there.
Get a ring, put a ring on it, get the jacket, is it the gold colored jacket?
Is it?
Is it gold or is it green? One of them's for the Masters and one of them's.
Is it mustard? Oh no, the Hall of Fame's gold.
It's gold. Yeah.
But is it gold? Is it gold? Is it mustard? Is it more of like a baby puke? Like what
baby
color?
Puke.
What color
Here,
yellow
put on your
is that?
baby puke jacket, famous guy.
I mean, I understand the reason they did it. They made it so ugly that no one, you can't walk around. Like, no one's going to walk around in that color jacket.
No one else is, right? Yeah. Let's call Warren Sapp. Let's get him on the phone and find out what he calls it. So, no, but I mean, my God, this isn't just a certificate on a wall that Keith is going to get if he wins.
Right.
Like, this is a big, big deal.
Yeah. Like you said, you get a Hall of Fame jacket. You get a ring, and you get your bust in Canton. Yeah. So like Terry said in the interview, it's more like, and I've had struggle with this too, instead of like the Ford Hall of Fans, I keep calling it the Fans Hall of Fame, because that's what it is.
That's what it is, yeah.
You get a jacket, you get a ring, and you get a bust in Canton. forever.
That's crazy.
Forever.
I know Terry, I don't, he kind of had trouble seeing it, but I really hope if Big Nasty wins, they do the face painted bust. Yeah. And I know it's one color, but they could do the lines and stuff that show, and they can give him the helmet with the rhino horn and everything like that. So.
Right. And speaking of rhino horns, Brent, do you know why he wears the rhino horns?
It's
Speaking
interesting.
Of Big Nasty?
It's interesting you say that, because we just had a conversation with Big Nasty the other day where he told us the history behind the rhino helmet and everything that has to do with him. And
we did?
We did. I know. Because go figure, if we're talking to Terry Bradshaw about the Ford Hall of Fans, who else better to get on this show than our guy that we're trying to get in, Big Nasty. He is going to join us here on the show, really, Ren, right now.
So far it's just been overwhelming already, just by responses of 33 plus years of relationships you've created over the years. It's amazing. It really is.
Well, Big Nasty, talk to us about that. I mean, you just said 33 plus years. I know for me as a Bucs fan, I've been a Bucs fan for 20 something years. And as far as I can remember, there's just always been a Big Nasty. I don't know if that's actually true or not. That's what's in my brain. Like, where did this whole thing come from for you? And like, how did it get its start?
Okay. Yeah. It's pretty interesting. It's just like anything. Back in the day, there were no face painters. It was everybody wearing, I hate to say it, bags over their heads. And that used to drive me nuts. But to make a long story short, my brother had broken up with his girlfriend. And, my brother had broken up with his girlfriend. And I said, hey, man, I know you're down in the dumps. Hey, let's go to the game. And, hey, let's do something crazy. And I said, let's paint up, So we ended up painting up and went to the game against Green Bay, which was the Battle of the Pigs or something like that back then. And, Packer fans travel very well, So when we went, nobody painted their faces back then, especially for us, with losing seasons. But we noticed so many people coming up asking us to take pictures and everything. Plus, we got the crowd riled up a little bit. And I couldn't tell you. I think we tied the game, believe it or not, which is kind of funny. We didn't even win the game, but we only did it for Green Bay games because we were in the old Norris division. And I don't know if you know what I mean. It's not the South. The Norris was, the Packers, the Lions, the Vikings, and us. So, it was pretty interesting back in the day. And it was always what they call a blue collar, down and dirty kind of group. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, we went to the game, cheered them up. We had a good time. And then all of a sudden we were just doing it, on an annual basis for the Packer game. Right. And then I got inducted by Visa back in 2001. And, since then, I've met, the Hogettes. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but the guys that wear skirts with hog noses, they're all retired now. But when I met Boss Hogette, when I got inducted, he said to me, hey, you got to do something down in Tampa. And we ended up going at home. Still didn't give me a clue what the hell to do, but he did a thing called Hogette for a Day. And what that was where you went to these charities, mostly children's charities, and they auctioned off a day with the Hogette, okay? Yeah. So he goes, why don't you do something like that? I said, well, what the fuck am I going to do? All I knew is how to cheer and be loud and have a blast and stay loyal to the Bucs, right? And we came up with Nasty for a Day, and we've been doing that, man, every day, every game since. So what we do is, now it's kind of weird because when the season schedule comes out, you hear, everybody's calling me to get on a game schedule, for their charity, and we go out to their live auction and they bid on a day experience with Big Nasty, and they get all the proceeds. So, I donate the 2 tickets. I buy a Nasty Crew jersey for them. It depends if it's a child or an adult. And what we'll do is we'll get a rhino helmet for them, and take them to either all-you-can-eat Cheesecake Factory or a tailgate, which, rain or shine, just depends on that. And we've been doing that ever since because it helps out, man. It really does. For those charities that need it, so, and that's just one of the things we do. But the drugs are nasty thing is something that I've been doing since my daughter was in kindergarten. And now she's, 1 year away from graduating USF, South Florida. So, and that is amazing. It's kind of like, to give you an idea, a lot of the things have gone away about drug prevention and giving knowledge to the kids, and letting them make the right choices. So we came up with, we kind of winged it the first couple of years, and then it kind of evolved into, drugs are nasty. And the neat deal about it, it's like storytelling, it's, you have, say no, walk away, tell somebody, but there is a story behind every part of it. It's very powerful. And, the kids look at me like Santa Claus syndrome. So, I got their full-abided attention, and elementary, that's what's sad. You got to get them at elementary, because middle school, they've already made their decision, and that's scary. But, like I said, in the video, and I've said it all these years, if I could save one child from making a bad choice, that's what it's all about, guys. That's really what it's all about.
Yeah, something that Brent and I admire about you is how you've been able to, change this game day persona into something good for the community. And we'll definitely get back to that. But, you sort of went through the whole iteration of what it is to be big nasty. I just kind of want to jump back to sort of like how it started. Like I know you told the story, but like how many different face painting patterns have you gone through? Where did the horn come from? Like you got good patches. Stuff. Every time I see you in a jersey, you got patches all over you. Yeah. Like what are those? Yeah. Where are they from? What do they mean? Like give us a little background on, how this developed.
Well, I could tell you, it all started like when, obviously we're going to games. And, you don't get to choose your nickname. People give you your nickname, right? That's a true nickname, And I've been called a lot worse than Big Nasty over the years, being a heavy guy. But that's here or there. But, yeah, we were going to the game one time, and, we were very consistent. And this old lady around 60 rows up, I wish I could tell you her name. I really do. God knows if she's even alive. But she was 60 rows up in the old Tampa Stadium. And I remember me and my brother walking up. She goes, "You know what, Sonny? You need a nickname, something big and something nasty." And that's how it started. And nice. Then, it just started the Nasty Crew, where there was Little Nasty. And guys, bear with me. I don't know if you even know, but I lost my brother yesterday. And my brother's
oh my God.
Nasty. So if I'm catching, just bear with me as we go through this. But
of course,
it's kind of so. It stems from family, right? That's how it all starts. Family, football, faith, the whole bit, right? And, I can honestly tell you the Buccaneers have been part of my life since I was 8 years old. So it's like it's inbred in me. So there's no way that could change. But going back to so I get back on this, I don't want this to sound like Debbie Downer here, but obviously the old lady gave us our nickname, and then we became the Nasty Crew, and there was 4 of us originally, and it's been pretty good. I'm the only one that's really stayed pretty consistent because you can always rely on you. You can't rely on, hey, a charity event offers you, hey, can you come with me? I know I can make it, but I can't prepare everybody else to make sure they get off of work to get to it. So that being said, we've went and have done it from there on out, but that's how I got the nickname, which is pretty special and should be Big Nice Guy. But, let's face it, Big Nasty looks more intimidating, I guess you could say. But you brought up a good thing. You brought up the rhino hat. And that's a great trivia because you tell me what the hell a rhino has to do with a Buccaneer. And It's funny. I've seen journalism who write it in, and I'm like, well, if you did good journalism work, you could have just asked. I would have told you. But, you know what I mean? But the cool thing was it was really neat. For a short stint, we had Mike Allstat and Lorenzo Neal. And and I'm telling you, Lorenzo was the best fullback I've ever seen in my life. He could thump you, and I tell you what, you would be out for days. That's how good he was. And they used to call it the Rhino offense. And it didn't stay around long because then we got the work done, and then it was the WD-40. But, with Mike Allstott, let's face it. And it's funny how over the years, I'm great friends with Mike Allstott. I at least see him once a year at a charity event we do. And, I mean, just a great human being, stayed in the area. I've seen Lorenzo Neal when I go up to Canton. We try to do it on an annual basis to give back for the J. Babe Stern Center, which is kind of like a boys and girls club that needs us up there. And it's all the super fans across the country go, and they bring school supplies and everything. And literally that's a show and then some. I mean, you got kids out the door for 3 blocks because it's, the poverty is pretty bad over there. And these kids are getting school supplies and whatever they need. And that's been growing every year. That's an organization called Professional Football's Ultimate Fans Association, which has just developed in a pretty good organization on helping people, and that's what it's all about. So you got the idea on the Rhino helmet, and the original one is actually in my trophy case because I only had 2 people sign it, and that was Mike Allstott and Lorenzo Neal, obviously.
There you go.
And then you asked about the patches. Well, each patch means a lot to you. You get them over the years. I'm not interested in just throwing patches on. When I got inducted to I guess you could say the Visa Hall of Fans back in 2001, we had a Hall of Fame patch. Mm-hmm. So that was one of them. Now they have this group called the Buckaholics, and I don't know if you've seen it, but what they did, it really makes me feel good. And what I mean by that is, back in the day, there's 45,000 strong, and that was it. There wasn't Buck fans nationwide. Are you kidding me?
Right.
All right? Especially after all those losers. Come on. You had to be a glutton for punishment back then. You definitely had to be a homer to start. But what's really surprising is you'll see patches on my jersey that are from, like, Wisconsin. You got the Florida patch, obviously, but you'll see, California. You'll see Nevada. I mean, they're all over the place now. Tennessee, you name it. And it's really neat because now when you go out of town to these other places, you got a little Buck Nation everywhere now. So it's kind of what I envisioned. Back then I was like, oh, it'd be great to have, our end zone like the Raiders, where all painted face people and people going nuts and having that intimidating experience for the opposing team coming in, or at least just be a loud scenario. But, I could tell you, we are when we're winning. We're not so great when we're losing, obviously, because nobody's showing up. But you still have about 40 to 45,000, but you got to think a lot of us are passing away. A lot of these originals that have been here, for a very long time, they're getting older, and let's face it, it's hot out there,
Right.
So,
right.
But, I ain't joking. I don't know if you ever heard of Sean Young from the Philadelphia Eagles. He's the one that booed McNabb in the draft back in the day, and he's a super fan for the Eagles, and you'd probably think Bucks and Eagles and your friends were like brothers. But he came down, I can't remember, it's the hottest game I've ever been to in my entire life. I've never been at a hotter game, and it was 120 degrees on the field, guys.
Yeah.
And I got a picture right by the thermometer on the field, me and him. And I'm looking at it going, how the hell are they playing a football game in this? It's amazing, But that's what they get paid for, be gladiators and go out and provide entertainment for all of us. And, but yeah, I'll tell you, we're up and coming. We have a lot of unanswered questions right now, but I'm excited to see what the future holds for us.
Yeah. Big Nasty, I got a question for you. Just kind of you're a person who I follow on social media. I've seen you, and kind of, watched you a little bit from afar. I had a chance to meet you once or twice. You actually took a picture with my boy at the next to last home game, which was super cool of you. But obviously, and you've referenced it a few times, the Buccaneers have been through some hard times, especially here of late, but you're a person who always just stays up and you always stay positive. Like, how do you do that? Like, how do you ride that line? Because I know you're a human being too. Like, you have to share in frustrations on some level that the rest of the fans do, but your persona, at least what you put out there, it's still always positive no matter what. Like, how do you do that?
Well, I could tell you, and it may be unfair for some of the new fans. And I started thinking, like, what is all this negativity on social media? Like, man, I used to call, I think I even came up with a phrase just accidentally because I was running my mouth on a video. Mm-hmm. And I said, if you're going to be a jump ship chump, then why even get on board? But,
right.
And my point being is, then I started thinking, why are they jumping ship so quickly? You know what it is? Because a lot of us older people that have been in, from day one, I'll be honest with you, when you go 0-26 and your buddies are Raiders and Steeler fans back then, you got made fun of a lot, right? Mm-hmm. But I just always stayed loyal. And my mom and dad always instilled that loyalty if you love something. And I went to football camps. I got to meet the Doug Williams, the Leroy Selmans, the Dewey Selmans, the Mark Cotney, which is my all-time favorite Buck of all time, Scott Brantley, and then you meet the Derek Brookses and the Warren Sapps and the John Lynches, and you see it evolve. But my point being is, when you go from losing 0-26 and you watch it go and you get a little blurb and then, okay, you lose the Ram game, in the 79 championship, and you're going, oh, that hurt, but we were so close. You get the taste of what success can be, and it still takes a long time, and I get it. Okay, then we get in. We had a couple other playoff things, with the strike and all that. Then you get into 99, and who would ever believe we're playing the freaking Rams again, and we go at it again, and we lose another close one. And then all of a sudden we hit the mother load when we hit Philly, and we can't even get over the hump. And then we bring in old Coach Chucky Gruden, and we win it. I mean, I don't know about you. I think that's what's different from the new regime because they haven't experienced, I call it the mountaintop, but I've been to the lows of the lows and to the top of the top. And I can tell you, and I'll tell this to all Buck fans, just stay loyal, because I'll tell you what, anybody can just, win a bunch of championships like the Patriots. But look what's about to happen. History will come up, and then they'll start losing again. And the thing is, we're up and coming. I mean, we're starting to build some talent. And I just think, honestly, if the Buck fans could really back this team and really get behind it. I know it stinks when you see a pick six, the last play of the season, and ends the game. I get that. But you know what? I remember Steve Young, and what did he end up being? I remember Doug Williams. Same scenarios, guys, and look what Doug Williams ended up being, an MVP of a Super Bowl. Steve Craig, a Hall of Famer. These are just some of the examples, what I think, and I guess I can give advice to the youth fans. What I mean by that is, hey, if you've been there 20 years, stick with them, man. It's been 20 years you invested your life into this team. Okay, let's just say it's 5 years. Let's just say it's 10 years. You invested that much time, and don't give up. Don't ever give up. Keep going, because I'll tell you right now, there's no feeling in the world, and you're not even playing the game, but the team that you love, that you saw from the ashes, end up flying like a fiery phoenix at the end and hosting the Lombardi Trophy. Guys, I'm telling you right now, that was godlike to me. And I'm telling you, when I mean godlike, it was amazing. And my family was with me. My brother was with me. My wife was with me. And, that's an experience I'll never forget as long as I live, and that's why you stay loyal, because you know what? You never know what's going to happen the next year. You just don't know. So give them all your love. Don't give up on them. I had one guy say, my kid's really giving me a hard time. This was funny. I just never thought I would ever hear this, My kid's really giving me a hard time because we're always losing, and he's fed up. He wants to become a Patriots fan. And I said, you know what? You tell him just to stick with it, because nothing's ever easy in life. But when you finally get through the hump and you get something that's rewarding, that's what it's all about. Don't tell him to be a jump ship chump, is what I told him. And he actually I felt like I was being a father figure to the guy, for God's sakes. But, that's really what life's about. You stick with things you love, you stay loyal, and that's what it's all about.
I feel like our stories as Buck fans are pretty similar. Like, I've been there since the beginning. I remember all the quarterbacks that have, come and gone and have gone to Super Bowls. You mentioned Williams and Young, and then there's Dilfer and Chandler and others. I went to Scott Brantley, Mark Cotney football camp. Like I went there, and what you're talking about as sticking with it is you're starting 0-26, and I'm in middle school and my classmates are making fun of me, who obviously, and in Florida, like they're all fans of, cause, like the Steelers and the Cowboys were big back then, that was Bradshaw was sort of winding down
Absolutely.
And everybody
and you
around
also had the
you,
Miami Dolphins. I mean, jeepers, it was crazy. But you're right. Go ahead. I like this.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, and then, and you go through the 0-26, and then year 4, you go to the championship, and then eventually, like you said, finally in 2002, it's like all those times I told myself and told my friends and told people, who razzed me, and I had nothing to stand on. Like, you never had a leg to stand on. It's like, your team sucks. It's like, yeah, I know. But one day, it's going to change. And it took till 2002, but when it did, there was nothing like it. And that community pride, Tampa and St. Pete everybody was a Bucs fan, every business was a Bucs fan. It was like that little montage in Remember the Titans, where the whole town gets behind the team, go Titans, and it's plastered everywhere, and it was such a great feeling. And I remember flashing back to my middle school days and high school days, and I can see the people's faces in front of me and looking at them, and I don't know their name, I know exactly what they look like, and I go, one day. In 2002 it happened. But you're right, these the newer Buck fans who came in during the tour, we call them pewter and red fans, and no fan's better than another, but they didn't have to go through those years of just, absolute torture and being made fun of and egged in the streets and rotten tomatoes thrown at you because you're a Bucs fan. So, they sort of started
we
out
make
on
it sound
top.
like we were abused, my man.
We were abused. Abused.
Yeah, but I gotta, Big Nasty, I gotta tell you.
But the neat thing about it, though, is I'm a firm believer of history repeats itself. And I'll tell you, I think we're due. I love where our coaching staff is right now. I mean, who would ever think, let's have 2 coaching staffs? I mean, how amazing. And then we could sit here and we could bash the Glazers. Shame on you, whoever you're doing that. Because you tell me how many owners are paying 2 coaching staffs on their team. I don't see any. So, and they're getting productivity. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, just everybody wants it now. I want it now. I don't want to wait. I want to win a Super Bowl now. Well, look what happened to Snyder with the Redskins. Okay, that's exactly what he tried to do with his money, and what happened? They ain't got it. Right. So, and they haven't had it since, and now they're starting all over again. So, with us, I think we got the coaching staff. I think we got a real good nucleus of young guys and old guys. I just hope we can sign everybody. And, I'm sure this is going to come up, and I'm going to clear it up right now. I am a pro Jameis fan all the way. And I know everybody's going to say, well, what about the 30 INTs? Let me tell you something. I sat through the Vinny Testaverdes. I sat through the Steve Craigs. I've seen interceptions after interceptions. You know what? Give it time. Because I hate what I'm afraid that's going to happen. We're going to let him go, and he's going to be the next Hall of Famer for some other team. And we're going to look back going, oh, what did we do? Again. So, but again, I'm not the franchise. People think I work for the Bucs, for God's sakes. Hey, I don't make any decisions with player personnel. I have opinions just like everybody else, and that's all it is an opinion. But bottom line is everybody has the right. And you said something that really struck a chord with me. People look at me, oh, well, you're the number one fan. Bull crap. I stand side by side, every one of you guys, whether you've been a fan for day one or whether you've been a fan from just starting the day. And the reason why that is, and I can say that honestly, is when you're experienced winning. And let's face it, right now you're hearing more profanity at Bucs games, people cursing at our players, which drives me nuts, by the way. It reminds me of the old, bags over your head day, the most disrespectful thing you could do to our team. So it offends me as well. But on the other hand, think about this. You have the negative part of it, and then all of a sudden you got strangers that you don't even know, and you're hugging each other like no other when you're winning a playoff game. and you're moving on to the next level, and you're seeing a huge play, and everybody's high-fiving, and the place is packed. I mean, nobody's sitting down. Everybody's standing up, and they're screaming. Let me tell you something. If you are lucky enough as a Buck fan to experience that San Francisco playoff game at home, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. That was so loud. I mean, it was amazing, absolutely amazing. And that's what we got to get back. And unfortunately, ball hasn't bounced in our way. We've had some good, I wouldn't say we haven't had a sellout forever, but, we had a good crowd the last home game, and that was a perfect opportunity, to, hey, let's go 8-8, right? And then promise for next year and hopefully help all those guys at, Buck headquarters where we could sell more season tickets. But I'm telling you right now, I picked 8-8. I thought that would have been a great season at the beginning of the year. But going 7-9 still isn't bad. You started with a brand new offense, a brand new defense, and a brand new special teams. And you had how many starting rookies on the defense at one time in that Seahawk game? I mean, guys. Oh, yeah. I mean, the guy is doing a good job. And if you can't see promise, then you're just blind, and that's why I stay so positive. The one slogan I've always had, and I will always live by, once a Buck, always a Buck. I don't care if you've been a Buck for 3 days and you went to another team. You're in my heart, you've been a Buccaneer. You're a Buccaneer. And whether you're playing for another team or not, you're still a Buck to me. And because as a fan, you develop relationships with these players. It doesn't mean that you're going out to dinner with them. You fall in love with these guys. And with today's business, everybody gets free agency and they move on and on. But you fall in love with these guys. You really do. You see the good things that they do, and you go, well, and then you get like, I call it big brother syndrome. Like, hey, how dare you talk about my buddy? You know what I mean? So I catch myself where if we lose a game, I try to stay off social media for at least 2 days, just because you know what it's like.
That's probably good policy.
What's it like?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like the end of the world is coming, for God's sake. But on the other hand, why do I do it? I love it, guys. It's my blood. It's my family. I mean, I've built up a bond with my daughter where she goes to the games with me, and it's amazing. I mean, this kid's louder than me now, So, but she started when she was a baby. She's been a Buck fan, and now she's 20. So I think it's just like anything, you get something that you love, you bring it up to your family, and you want to make sure it just keeps going. Almost like, well, the word's tradition, right? Loyalty, tradition, football, faith, family. That's really what it's about, and that's just what I live by, guys. I don't look at myself any better than the other guy. I just try to do. I got blessed. And I honestly say that I got blessed to be Big Nasty because it gave me a platform where, okay, who the hell is that lunatic and what can I do with it? And, obviously the Drugs Are Nasty program, the Nasty for a Day program we've been doing, and that's my way of giving back. And I'll continue to do that till the day I die, guys. It's just I feel like that's what the good Lord upstairs is telling me I got to do.
Well, Big Nasty, that is amazing, and I just have to tell you, Ren and I both are our first Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans, and this is not an unbiased podcast. Like, we are very, very biased in our fandom to the Buccaneers, and let's kind of wrap this around to sort of where we started. You have sort of been selected, I guess, to be the nominee for the Ford Hall of Fans coming up. I think I've got that right. Most people have seen by now the video that was put together of Derek Brooks coming over to your house. It looks like you were being interviewed for something, and then you got to knock on the door. Tell us about that moment when, you open up the front door and there's freaking Derek, the man Brooks, standing right on your doorstep, and you got cameras in your face, and he's telling you he's nominating you for this honor.
Yeah, it was amazing. Ford had called me, and I was actually at the Tennessee game, and they said, hey, can you get back here on Monday? We drove all night just to get back in time, and then, they said, hey, we just want to check out your house, and then we're going to come interview you. And I thought I was interviewing to get to that spot because a good friend of mine, Bearman from the Chicago Bears, won it last year, and I kind of watched his journey through it all, and I was like, oh, okay. So, and I'll tell you what, they were good fibbers, man. They had me like they told me they were interviewed 7 other Buck fans and they were going to be here all week. And I'm thinking, oh man, I don't like to go against other Buck fans. I was kind of like, I literally was thinking about, stepping down from it because I didn't want to cause divide by anybody. So all of a sudden, as the guy's interviewing me, I get a regular knock on the door. And I'm like, and I'm ignoring it because I think it's the FedEx guy because my daughter has an eyelash business that always delivers things. So I'm trying to ignore it, and the guy looks at me, and then all of a sudden, Derek almost takes my door down. And I'll be honest with you, I still don't have any clue, guys, at all. And I'm from New Jersey originally, so I'm about to torch a FedEx guy's butt because I'm literally hot. Because I'm like, of all days, you got to bang on the door right now while I'm doing this interview. So, and it was weird because I've never been nervous about interviews, but this one I was. And so as I get up, if you really watch the video, you see my eyeballs popping out. And I get to the door thinking, I'm about to torch this FedEx guy. And I open the door, and I'm telling you guys, I don't know how I didn't pass out because it totally got me off guard. I wasn't expecting that. And, I'm realizing, holy crap, I know what this is. I saw Bear Man's Journey. Oh, my God, he's here. He's going to nominate me. And then to hear that the words come out of Derek's mouth, I kind of was blank for a little bit, and I said, hey, man, I think I said, hold me up or something. And I was like, and then, what you don't see on the video is just unbelievable stuff. Him nominating me, come in, he signed a jersey to me. Just amazing experience. And let's face it, there's no bigger class act than Derek Brooks coming to your house and nominating you for the Ford Hall of Fans. It's been an honor, whether we achieve that mountaintop or not. The main reason why I want to reach that is 2 reasons now. First, it was for Buck Nation, to finally get some respect out there and let the whole nation see what Buck Nation's all about. But now I got kind of a little selfish reason because my brother just passed away. I'd like my brother to reach that mountaintop with me. So, it's an unbelievable ride. The voting process, which is Ford Hall of Fans /football, you can vote every day all the way to the 27th. And then I guess on the 28th, they let you know if you're being invited to the Super Bowl. And there's only 3 of you, and all 6 are deserved. And all 6 of these people are high quality people, really good people. And then one of them, from what they say, is supposed to get nominated into the Ford Hall of Fans. And, I'd be honored and humbled if I got there. I'm already honored and humbled by all the messages and the voting. I mean, guys, if you look at my Facebook and, it's crazier than Twitter. And even Instagram. But if you look at my Facebook, guys, I'm telling you, man, I'm trying to heart everybody, just say thank you. And it's hard to keep up. I got to work too, but it's just truly caught me off guard. If they were looking for reality TV, they got it. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah, like I said, I in my heart, I feel like I've already won, because just that the Buccaneer organization thought that much of me to even, recommend me. Guys, that's all it's really about. It's just being recognized by your family, right? And yeah, would it be nice to, let the Buccaneer organization be recognized and Pewter Nation and every single Buck fan that's in every single state now? Oh yeah, man, that's the ultimate. That's what we want to do. And I'm going to do whatever it takes, to get there. And now, it's not about a competition. It's more like I feel like I owe it to Buck Nation.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking at the page right now, and I don't think I realized until this moment there's only 6 people that have been nominated for this. It's not like there's one from every team in the league. Like there's only 6 of y'all out there. And by the way, Big Nasty, you are certainly the best dressed, I think, of the 6 that I'm sitting here looking at. But listen, we're gonna drop a link in our show notes, and we'll definitely be tweeting it out. We'll be putting it up on Facebook over the course of the week, leading up to, I think you said January the 27th, folks. Get out there and vote for our man Big Nasty, as he's out there representing us. He's representing all of Bucks Nation. Big Nasty, man, this is awesome. Just hearing your story of where you've come from the beginning, even to now, with the recent loss, how you've brought up your daughter in all of this, staying the course and staying steady and staying positive. This is an honor that you are certainly well deserved deserving of. And on behalf of Bucks Nation, I really can say, not that I know every single fan out there, but we would be honored having you represent us to the rest of the world out there. So thanks so much for what you do. And listen, guys, go vote as often as you can, for Big Nasty, and let's get him in there to the Ford Hall of Fans.
Much appreciated, guys. I really do. And God bless you all, and go Bucks. Let's get that Super Bowl 2020.
All right, well, Ren, that was Big Nasty, Keith Kunzig. Great conversation we just had. But before we get too far into discussing anything that Keith told us, that was about a half hour. We had like another half hour talk with Keith after we stopped recording. Except we didn't stop recording.
Yeah, after we told him none of this is going on the pod.
Right. Never stop recording is the mantra here.
Because we wanted to clarify sort of, we knew we had this interview talk, I should say, with Big Nasty before we got to talk to Terry Bradshaw.
Right.
So after we said, okay, we're quote unquote stop recording, we need some fact check, give us a few more details about your charities, because we don't know where this Bradshaw interview is going to go. And we're trying to stump for you.
Right.
And then in that conversation, he really went into some things that I think really need to be heard.
Yeah.
It was a continuation on, it was the deeper dive, I guess.
Yeah.
First part is sort of, hey, this is who he is. This is why he's there. This is how it started. This is what he does. And then the second part are actual stories, changing
the
people's
impact
lives
that he has made on people's lives.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
So we're going to play that. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I, sent him a message and hey, I know we said we weren't going to use this, but is it cool if we do? Because I think it's really great stuff. And he's like, yeah, man, whatever helps. So
yeah, we're going to play that. And just to spoil the end of it for everybody out there, where Ren and I have come out of the other side of this, getting Big Nasty into the Ford Hall of Fans has become a personal thing for us.
It's the quest.
It really is. And I think you guys, and I hope after listening to this, you guys will join us in this sort of quest of what it is to really put our guy Big Nasty over the top. Because listen, he's going up against Dallas Cowboy fan, Denver Bronco fan, Ravens fan who's still in the playoffs right now.
Chiefs fan.
Chiefs fan. Yeah. These are other big, huge franchises, and people are going to vote based on their own franchise. But I got to tell you, I've looked at what Big Nasty does compared to what these other five do, and they're all fantastic people. Hands down, allegedly. I think Big Nasty should win. I really unbiasedly, I think Big Nasty should win if you just look at what they do and what they contribute.
Yeah, just click on their little bios, flip over all the bios and read them before you vote.
Right.
Because just from that little bit there, you're like, this is no contest because you can't judge fandom.
Right.
The person from Oakland is a bigger fan than the person from Denver. They love their team more. You can't do that.
Yeah,
you can't measure it.
Right.
But Big Nasty, and we've talked about it, we've talked about it before, and we're going to talk about it a little bit now, is he's turned his avatar, his caricature, into something that's really, really good. And of all the people that are left to vote for, he does the most with it. He gives back the most with it. And it's a slam dunk. It really is.
It really is. So let's go ahead and get into that without further ado. Here's the second half of our talk with Keith Kunzig, Big Nasty.
The drugs are nasty. How long has that been going on, and exactly what does that sort of encompass? This is not podcast stuff. This is just for me and Brent.
Okay, just to let you know, it's been going on for 20 years now. And It started out at Starkey Elementary, where they asked me to come out and talk to the kids, about drugs. And literally, guys, when it first started, it was say no and tell somebody. Say no and walk away is what I said. Didn't have a clue what I was doing, but the kids loved it. And then they had me back every year. And now it's gotten to where we're actually approved on counties like Manatee, Pinellas, Citrus, where all the school has to do is just ask me during Red Ribbon Week, which that's Drug Prevention Week. And just to give you an idea, I did Manatee County, and they had 20 schools set up in a week, so it's just amazing. And now we do it in full assemblies. Before it was do every PE class. Now you've gotten like gymnasiums full. And like I said, it's say no, walk away, tell somebody. There's a thing on Facebook also. It's called Drugs Are Nasty on Facebook. And you can actually see a little bit of video of what it takes place. I've actually done Jameis Winston's football camp. I've done it there. But, yeah, I've been doing it forever. And sometimes I even do it where even after Red Ribbon Week, because, you know, you get school requests, and some of these schools really, really need it, guys. And then what was really nice, my buddy Mike passed away last year, and he was with Alpha Pro Solutions, a drug testing company, which helps sponsor us so we can go out of the country, or not out of the country, but out of the state. And we did Houston, we did Philadelphia. And let me tell you something. What I did was teamed up with a Hall of Fame fan, you know, like Sean Young from the Eagles, and then the Ultimate from the Texans. I don't know if you ever seen him. But, you know, obviously these are colorful guys and with good hearts and want to do something in their communities, and they're taking off with it. You see what I mean? And like I said, I'd never envisioned nationwide, but that's pretty cool, man. I mean, not many people could say you've done it in different states, and it's like I said, it's amazing what you see is going on in each state too, by the way, how they're different. But like I said, what if we saved one child in Philly? It was worth it. What about one child in Houston? It was worth it, you know, and I will continue to do it. I will tell you this. I didn't tell you this on the podcast, but I'll tell you now. I had a gentleman, you know, you got to understand, there's a part in there where I said there's a drug dealer in the room, and then the place gets quiet, you know, and you could feel the vibe. Like, you could tell who's the drug dealer. You know what I mean? All you got to do is
everyone looks at him.
You hear what I'm saying to you? But what was crazy is I've implemented that, forever, and tell them that I don't give up on them. I said, you can change. You know, stop doing what you're doing. You're in a place right now. You got education that can get you there. This will be your way out. But I'm telling you right now, you're going to have two ways out. You're going to be in the ground if you keep doing what you're doing, or you're going to reach the mountaintop by getting your education and making a difference in your life and getting out of that bad syndrome. And guess what happened? Oh, God, I get chills. My daughter was with me, too, so great teaching tool, right? We're at the Buck Stadium. We're on the field because I had a cancer kid with me one time. I normally bring it. If that happens, they let me go on the field with him. So I had a day with him. He's ahead of me. His parents are taking him to the seat, and I get a guy who goes, "Hey, Nasty, you changed my life," and screams. Like, you know, you get a lot of people that want to take pictures, and, you know, you just take pictures. And then I just was like, okay, I'm walking. I don't know what the hell he was saying. And all of a sudden he screams it out again. Now, this is a thick young fella now. This is an athlete. This is a grown man. And I'm going, he comes up to my face and he goes, "You changed my life, Big Nasty." And I'm like, okay, man, I heard you say that twice. What are you talking about? You know, and then he goes, you know, "You remember when you used to do your Drugs and Nasty program?" I said, "Yes, sir." He goes, "I was in that." And then he goes, "You remember that drug dealer you were talking about?" He goes, "I was one of them." And I looked at him. I swear to God, I almost pissed myself, to be honest with you. I was like, and I got my daughter right there. I'm thinking, uh-oh, what's going down here, right? He goes to me, "You changed my life." He says it again. And I go, "Well, what are you talking about?" He goes to me, "I just want to let you know that day you changed my life." He says, "I was selling drugs on a corner to make sure my brother and sister were fed. I talked to the counselor at school that day. And then I stopped selling drugs that day. I just want to let you know," take this, guys. You talk about chills, I'm getting it again. He goes, "I'm just letting you know I got a scholarship, a full ride to go to the University of Florida." So I look at him, I go, "Wow, you did?" Because he was a big, you know, looking like a football player. Dig this, guys. So I go and say, you know, assumption, "Hey, you got it on a football scholarship?" He goes, "No, I got it on an academic scholarship, 4-year ride to go to UF." Dude, I was crying. You don't realize what you're doing to these people. You don't realize every kid, every person you're touching, you know? You just don't realize it. And that's the kind of stuff that drives you to keep doing what you're doing. Who would ever believe that? You know, you can't make that stuff up. You know, that's just crazy. So, you know, that's what I'm trying to tell you on the Drugs Are Nasty has been going on since Destiny was in kindergarten. She's 20 years old now. So you figure, what is that? You know, 15 plus years. So, and it continues to go. You know, I just do it more on the in-state level because we don't have a sponsor to cover me traveling and stuff like that. You know, I do have a financial advisory practice that I run, so I'm pretty busy too. That's why I do it during Red Ribbon Week. I take my vacation to do that.
Wow. So wait, let me repeat what I just heard you say.
Right.
You're using your vacation time to go to schools and talk to kids about staying off drugs.
Yeah.
That's fantastic, man. That's wow.
So
that's great.
Hey, dude, when you start to realize what good you can do, why stop it?
Yeah.
Believe me, there's a lot of bad in the world. We need more good, right? So whatever I can do to help until the day I die, I'm going to do it. So, and that's kind of like the drugs are nasty background of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of gave you the nasty for a day where I got the idea from Boss Hoggett. And that's pretty cool too. I mean, that's raised lots of money. I mean, I think the highest one, believe it or not, I got to tell you, I think the highest one was like $6,000.
Wow.
And I'm going, y'all know what the hell you're bidding on? I mean, you're going to a game, you're going to be hot and sweaty with a fat guy. I'm going,
listen, my kids do that 8 times a year, Big Nasty.
Say that again? I didn't hear you.
I said my kids do that 8 times a year. Go to the game with a big, fat, sweaty guy. Just be hot.
I know. I'm sitting here going, wow, hey, you're lucky enough to get on the Jumbotron, but, you love it when the kids are going, but most of the time it's the adults that want to go.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. It has it's like fluctuation over the years. How's that sound? But, but yeah, like I said, it's just something, I guess you could say a niche I found as a fan that I enjoy doing. So, I always told everybody the day it's not fun anymore is the day I'll hang it up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Who did you say when you do the nasty for a day, who does that money go to? Or how does that get dispersed?
Whatever charity it is.
Yeah.
So like, for example, when we originally started, it was Children's Dream Fund was the very first one we did. I can remember that way back. Mm-hmm. But then I was like, we would just do it for that one charity. And I'm like, wait a minute. People were calling me and I realized there's so many different charities out there, someone's that you never even heard of. And then you go to their event, you go, oh my God, I never thought kids were starving in Pinellas County. The Kind Mouse is another one we did, so that's what you do. You try to give back to the charities, and let's face it, they're all looking for, I guess what does well with live auctions is experiences. Instead of, hey, here's 2 tickets to the game. When you get to, hey, I can go get made up as Big Nasty and paint it up and have a game day experience with Big Nasty at his tailgate and all that. And, they know they're in safety with me driving, it kind of drives that home. I guess that's what charities are looking for, because that's what builds up, I guess the live auction. And what's fun is when you get them bidding against each other. it's hilarious, man. And I'm up there hugging on guys like, hey, you sure you don't want me more? But and that's the key, is going there in makeup, going as Big Nasty, and letting them see who you really are.
Right.
And seeing the personality, and realizing that I'm not a complete psycho, for God's sakes, So, but no, it didn't happen at the beginning like that. You're lucky to get 1 or 2, but now you got them calling you all at once. We do another. Guys know who Charlie Daniels is? Oh, sure. Okay. Well, Charlie Daniels has what they call it. He used to call it the Charlie Daniels Palooza, and now it's the Angelus. The Angelus. It's how you could say it's a ranch actually for paraplegic, where they can't abide for themselves, so they need assisted living kind of thing. And some of them are kids, some of them are adults, and we've been doing that for 20 years now. And we do that every December. That's the charity event I meet with Mike Allstott and a lot of the players at. And, that's pretty cool too. So I'm just showing you some of the charities that I'm very fond of that have stuck with us over the years. So
yeah, just to, so I know. So Nasty for the day, they get a shirt, they go to the tailgate, weather permitting. Do they get a helmet, a rhino helmet?
Yeah, it depends if it's an adult or if it's a child, okay? And if they want the helmet or not. So I make a rhino helmet for them, okay?
Right.
They get a customized jersey, Buccaneer jersey. I have to find out what shirt size they are so I can have it for the game.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then what they'll do is they'll get that customized jersey, and it'll say Nasty Crew on the back. And then they have the option of coming to my house and me painting their face and putting war paint on together. And then they're definitely either going to go to Cheesecake Factory if it's raining, before the game,
right?
Or all you can eat tailgate at the Leatherhead tailgate that we go to on a game day basis.
Mm-hmm. All right. And like, okay. And
don't forget two front row tickets with me.
Right.
So
there you go.
That's another thing. So they can have the game.
That's
day
the real
experience.
prize right there. That's it. Right
Yeah.
And so now, since you've realized there's more charities, you do 8 charities a year?
Yeah, actually, I try to give the preseason ones to the kids, like at our clubs. I have them do like an essay of why they think the drugs are nasty thing, what they learned from it, that kind of deal. And then I try to give them the tickets to go. And, sometimes they don't even show because they can't afford to go to the games. You know what I mean? Meaning just drive to it. And I fixed that later down the road. I said, hey, you just let me know who your parent is and the kid, and I'll come pick them up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So no tickets go wasted. Yeah, but, if we have a game where, there isn't one, it's because, they either couldn't make it or they canceled, but they obviously still paid the charity. So
Okay. Right. Oh, so you mean isn't one as in you always have a charity, but sometimes you don't have somebody to go with?
Correct.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Meaning it's all up to them whether they show or not. Some of these people, guys, I'm telling you, they'll just bid on stuff, and then, if they can make it or not, or they'll send somebody else in their place. For the most part, I've only actually, I think over all the years, maybe 1 or 2 no-shows, which is kind of, especially when you're paying money,
Sure.
It's not like it's less than $1,000, for God's sake,
Big Nasty, man, thank you so much for all your time. I'm going to go ahead and let you go and let you get on with your night. But, man, like Ren said, this one's important to us as well, so we're going to do our best to help pump this up and put you over the top here.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it, man. Nice meeting y'all, and you have a great night.
All right, Ren, well, that was Big Nasty. Keith Kunzig, man, that guy's got a story, doesn't he?
Yeah, I know I've said this a few times, but it's really impressive what he's been able to turn, just a caricature, an avatar, a goofy paint face with a dumb horn on his head.
That some old lady gave him a nickname for.
Yeah. Man, I don't know what you should be called, but it should be big and it should be nasty. And It's like, well, that sounds pretty good.
There you go.
And what he's turned this into, we're pushing 2 decades of community work.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get anything for this.
No.
He's like us, except he leaves the house.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he sells off memorabilia to get money so he can go to the games. And so, this is not something he's making money off of. He's using money. So it's very well deserved. I mean, Big Nasty, I hope you're listening to this part, man. Like, you have just in this process, I think we referenced it earlier in the show, Ren. Like, you have inspired us to really want to get you into this.
Yeah,
like it's not just because you're a Bucs fan. Like, you deserve this.
It's gone from like, oh, Big Nasty, he's been around forever. He deserves it. To like, seeing the other teams and like, wow, he's really up against it. We should try to get this in. And then talking to him, going, wow, like he deserves it, and I don't really know how he didn't win last year. Like, it's like this needs to happen for this guy because when you put in 2 decades of hard work and charity work just because he didn't do it for this. No.
Yeah.
It didn't exist.
Exactly.
It didn't exist. Like we heard Terry at the top of the show. It's only the second year.
Right. Yeah.
This didn't exist. So, there come certain times when, you get those lifetime achievement awards, at these certain shows,
right.
And you see these type of things, and for putting in this much work for getting absolutely nothing back. Like it's not like a nonprofit. It's like he's pulling in a salary,
right?
Like you can talk about these huge charity organizations. These people all get paid.
Mm-hmm.
He just does it. The man lines up his vacations so he can go and talk to schools during his vacation.
Right.
He gets 2 weeks vacation. He spends one of those weeks traveling around to schools in 3 different counties to talk about stay off of drugs.
Right.
Like,
he goes to every game taking somebody with him and then donates money to charity off of that.
Yeah.
He, he goes and visits kids in the hospital and is a guy who comes through for that. And on top of that, he represents us as the fandom, face of the FANchise. I like that phrase. That might be the title of this episode. I don't know. But, so listen, guys, we got to get our guy Big Nasty in there. And listen, not just as Bucs fans, get all your other fans too. Get your friends who are Packers fans and your friends who are, Saints fans, and I don't know if you have friends who are Saints fans out there, guys. Maybe you do, maybe not. I don't know. Your Bills fans, your whatever, and get them all voting in for our guy, Big Nasty. Share this episode, share the videos, guys, because he really deserves it. One more time, FordFootballHallOfFans.com/football. Vote every single day from now until January 27th, and let's get our guy over the top. He's only going up against 5 other people. Yeah. Like, he's going to get buried in 32 people. Terry
missed that question.
Do what?
Terry missed that question.
Sure, and that's okay. And by the way, oh my gosh, Terry freaking Bradshaw, thank you so much for coming on this show. That was just a real treat and pleasure to get to talk to you.
Yeah, well,
real treat and pleasure for him to talk to us too, huh?
I was going to say something mean about Terry Bradshaw.
Probably better not.
You should mark that down.
I was
going to say, well, he's getting marked. Well, he gets paid by Ford, so.
Right.
Unlike our guy, unlike Big Nasty, who doesn't get paid.
Right. So anyway, go to about 5. All right. So anyway, gosh, man, Terry Bradshaw, Big Nasty, all here on the same show. Ren, we got to get people out there. We got to go vote, but that's going to do it for us for this show, in this episode. Guys, listen, as you're listening to this, make sure you join us Sunday night, because Ren and I are going to be going live at youtube.com/thepewtercast, and we are going to be unveiling the nominations for the 2019 Pewtercast Award Show, our 4th annual Pewtercast Award Show. It is back. Voting will be open then as well, where you guys can go vote for your favorite Buccaneers of the year, people surrounding Buccaneers. There's awards like most valuable player. There's awards like player of the year, offensive, defensive players of the year, rookie of the year, favorite Bucs podcast of the year. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Vote for us. Media personality. There's all sorts of events. So you guys do that. Join us on Sunday night, 9:00 Eastern Standard Time, and we'll let you guys know where you can go vote for those as well. And Ren, that's going to do it for us today, buddy. If you want to tell folks how to get a hold of you, let's get out of here for that, man.
Yes, I will be. So bear with me for this next couple of weeks. I will be retweeting the link where to go vote for Big Nasty every day, maybe a couple times a day for the next few weeks. So I apologize in advance, because I'm one of those people when I see their timeline where it's the same thing and it's just sort of promotion and hey, like, do this, like, hey, click on my website, hey, vote for me on this, or hey, like. So I apologize in advance, but like we talked about and we've discussed almost ad nauseum about how much this means to us, that's what I'll be doing. And I would like, if you want to, and it would mean a lot to me, if not only would you revote, but retweet it.
Yeah.
Get it out in front of other people's eyes as well. And then they can make, their decision if they want to vote or not. So best place to find me is on Twitter, where I'll be annoyingly retweeting the link at Rendax, REN_DAXT. I'm always down to talk Buccaneers. Pew pew. That's double guns, laser guns, football.
Laser guns. Hey, if you guys want to join me, you can find me at Brent Allen Live personally across all the social medias. I'm going to be doing the same thing Renz does. At least I think I'm going to. I'm going to try. I really am. I've got a couple.
Except not as cool.
Right, yeah. I might actually just be retweeting Ren, and then you guys retweet that from there. But anyway, listen, you guys, look, no, seriously. Vote. Tell people to vote. Tell people about this. Get the word out. Let's make it happen. And you guys do that. At Brent Allen Live across all the social medias. The Pewtercast on Twitter and on Facebook. Email us to thepewtercast@gmail.com. Join us Sunday night live, 9:00 for Pewtercast Live, where we're going to be doing the nominations for our 2019 Pewtercast Awards show. Until next time, guys, we'll close the show out as always. Go Big Nasty!